Yeah, I mean, obviously with unprecedented times like this, and I'm a big believer in if you can, you must. So obviously our owners took some action and some initiative, and I just wanted to follow their lead with the Pagula Fund that, feeds it's Feed More Western New York, and they're supplying meals, and it goes to the Rural Outreach Program, and everything else will go to the first responders. So I wanted to be part of that. And then my relationship with, Kaleida Health and Oshai Children's Hospital, I wanted to make sure that I could give back to them because they've been great to me, and I want to make sure that they've got all the equipment that they need and protective masks. And I know that no amount of money could probably make that happen, just because of the supply thing that's going on in this world right now. And but I do appreciate what they're doing, and their staff and their doctors and nurses that are risking their life to help keep Western New York safe and try to combat this virus that we've really never seen like this before. So it's a crazy world we're living in, but I have a lot of respect for people that are trying to combat this.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, it's Heather Prusak here. I just want to ask you, obviously this has affected people's daily routines in so many different ways. How has it impacted and had to change and alter your workouts out in California with Jordan Palmer, and what are you doing differently because of all of this?
Well, one thing, as far as throwing goes, we don't have guys to throw to. We've got a couple of our buddies that we've been hanging with that, we know where they've been, and we're practicing social distancing, but we're doing a lot of spot throws, a lot of just off platform, and it's just like maybe 5 guys out there, with the rules of the 10 plus, that we're abiding by it and trying to be as safe as possible for ourselves and our families and everybody around us. As far as working out goes, we found a garage that we were working out in. Obviously all the gyms are closed. Again, it's a close network of people that we've tried to stay around and try to limit the contact to everybody else, not just because we don't want it, but not that we don't want to give it to anybody else. So there's that, and we're trying to combat this as well as we can, and trying to do the right thing, and trying to practice social distancing and staying away from family members. And my grandparents call me all the time. They're getting bored in their house, but I have to remind them that it's for the best that they stay in right now. So we're going to get through this. It's a matter of time, but for the time being, it's something we've never really seen before, and I think it's allowed a lot of people to, there has been some good to come out of this. I think, as far as realizing what you have and appreciating your family, and making sure that you care about other people, and I think that's what's going on right now. And it is sad of what's going on, and hopefully we can get on top of this here fairly soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, Sal Capaccio from WGR. Good to talk to you. Hope you're staying safe out there. I know you are.
Yeah, same to you, Sal.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your interaction with your teammates and coaches and how everything's going. And would it be any different this time of year with them? I know that the offseason program wouldn't start until April 20th anyway. But what is it as far as anything different, and what is it like right now? Your interactions with your coaches and your teammates.
Well, I mean, we're free to call our teammates as much as possible. We can talk football with them, and I'm trying to stay on top of that and just make sure I'm not really even talking football right now, but just checking in with them and making sure that them and their families are okay, and just trying to see face and FaceTime each other, and go about it that way, because I care about my guys, and they care about me too. So just trying to stay in touch that way. As far as coaches, I've talked to Dable and Dorse a little bit, and it's all basically just family related, what we're doing, how we're staying safe, how everything's going back in Buffalo, and them asking how we're doing out here, and they're trying to give updates as to what they think is going to happen with OTAs. And there's one thing that Dable said to me, football related, was he's planning on us going April 20th, and that's his plan. And if things get moved back, they get moved back, and we'll adjust. But we're not going to, have a different mindset because of what's going on. We've got to stay focused and stay ready. So That's kind of the mindset that he's kind of passed on to me too, and that's what I'm thinking. But at the same time, whatever happens, we want everybody to be safe. We don't want to put anybody at risk of, getting sick, and I think that's what everybody should be doing right now.
Hey, Josh, Adam Benini, WGRZ. How are you? Glad to hear you're doing well.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Glad to hear you doing well as well.
Hey, I just, obviously the addition of Stefon Diggs, the trade. What are your expectations for the offense this year, and how much of an added weapon does a receiver like that give you?
I think it's a huge, huge boost for our offense and for our team in that aspect. Even just going against our guys in practice, it's going to make the guys on defense that much better as well. But the fact that he's one of the best route runners in the league, he makes these unbelievable contested catches, the run after catch ability that he has when he's got the ball in his hands. It's pretty remarkable. And to have a weapon like that, it makes me super happy, and it should make our other guys super happy too, just because that, attention is going to have to be elsewhere. It's going to open up some things in our offense. And if teams want to try to double team Stefon, it'll open up other things. But, the route running capabilities, the double moves that he has, the type of player that he is, he's very competitive and very passionate about the game of football. It's very prevalent. You can see it in the way he plays. And, I'm excited to play with a guy like him and his caliber. And, he's only going to make this football team better.
This is Matt Perino from Syracuse.com. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Obviously, Brandon let us know that you've talked to Stefon and, shared some excitement with him. And, he's able to see all of these ways that you stay connected to the community. Is it something that, has he shared with you his excitement level of coming to Buffalo and joining this team and being a part of this community? And do you think that the lead that you've taken in the community kind of, rubs off on other people, teammates and players and such?
I wouldn't say that it was my lead, but from what I've talked to him about and what I've seen him tweet, he's super pumped to be a part of, Bills Mafia is what we'll say. He's excited to get to Western New York. He understands, the type of fans that we have, the passion that goes into the city. And he understands that he's talked to players too, and they have only great things to say about Western New York and the city of Buffalo. So he's excited to get out here. I'm excited for him to get out here and start working with him as soon as possible.
Hey, Josh, Mike Catalana in Rochester. Does adding a guy like Stefon Diggs, some people are saying the Bills might have, if not the best, one of the best receiving core in the league. Does that add pressure to you, or expectations are higher? And if so, is that something you just embrace?
Yeah, I don't think it raises the pressure. I'm sure the expectations are high for other people. I want to win as many games as possible, and to have the guys that we have outside that are playmakers that can do different things. You look at Cole Beasley, the maneuvering that he makes, the route running capabilities that he has, and you look at John and the things that he can do on the football field and how great of a season those two both had last year. And then you add another weapon like Stefon Diggs. I think people are thinking it's going to distract or take away from what John and Cole are going to be able to do, but I think the opposite. I think it's going to be that much more opportunity for them in a sense. And, adding a guy like him, we're going to have to find ways to allow the ball to get into our playmakers' hands, whatever happens. So I'm excited. It's not added pressure in my mind. I think it's going to make things actually a little easier just because the guys that we have making plays and what they can do with the ball in their hands.
Hold on, Beauvais. You're not unmuting for some reason.
Got me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Cool. Hey, Josh, Matt with Channel 7 in Buffalo. Hope you and your family are doing well. You just mentioned how great of a route runner Stefon is, and from the moment you guys added him, everybody brought that up, just how great he is at that particular aspect of his game. And I'm wondering, as a quarterback, how does that help you? How does a route running specifically help the guy who's throwing him the ball?
Well, create separation, and as a quarterback, the more separation, the easier the throws are able to be made. And he gets open. When you can rely on a guy to just get open and win his one-on-one matchups, it's a safety net in my opinion. And again, he's shown to be able to do this for the few years that he's played in the league, and he's a big-time player, and he's got the respect of every defense out there. And again, when he can run routes and double move and get open and consistently make plays, that becomes a quarterback's best friend.
Hey Josh, John Scott from Spectrum News. I'm glad to hear you're doing all right out there on the West Coast. Was curious, with the addition of Stefon Diggs, a lot of people would assume then the Bills would like to throw the ball more. Is that something that you're chomping at the bit to do, to take more onus of the offense with your arm and really lead the show with now a three-headed monster wide receiver?
I really don't care about the term of leading the show. I just want to be able to make sure that the ball gets into our playmakers' hands when it needs to and allows our team to win football games. And we throw, like I said, 40 times a game. We throw 4 times a game. As long as at the end of the day the result is a W, I'm super happy for that.
Hey, Josh, Chris Brown here. Keep staying safe out there. I know you exhaust every avenue to improve your game each off season. Aside from the physical and mental to-do list you may have had, with Jordan and everybody out there, have you tapped into any of your NFL contacts that you might have as to how year 3 at your position might be even better for you, whether it's Jordan's brother Carson or anybody that's been through year 3 as a starter before?
I've talked to a few guys of that caliber, and had a few long talks with guys that have played the position for a long time. They say year 3 is when things start to click and things start to happen. So I'm super excited for that aspect, and being in the same system for the 3rd year now, and being under the same coach for the 3rd year now. I think that what we got going on in Buffalo is a special thing, and I'm super fortunate to be a part of it. And again, we need to see results. So I understand how big of a year it is, and but I'm taking it one day at a time and just trying to do my part and trying to be the best quarterback that I can be for the Buffalo Bills.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh. John Worrell. How are you doing? First time caller.
Good, how are you?
First time caller, long time listener. Just wondering, you can't look at this offseason without looking at all the quarterbacks that have moved around, specifically, some big names, including, top of Tom Brady. What's your reaction to, not having to show down against Brady twice a year? And the fact that there's a lot of people who are looking at the Bills and considering them now AFC East, the team to take over that spot atop the division.
Well, one, people aren't going to like this answer, but I enjoy playing against Tom. And as a childhood, I wouldn't call him a hero, but as an idol for me growing up, the things he did on the football field, how he handled himself, it was always super real to me, and I took a lot away from it. And to see him, one, go to another division, it doesn't mean that we're not going to play him again, but to have the chance to play against the greatest of all time, I took that as a huge sign of respect. But I am, obviously, I think Bills Mafia is happy that he's out of there, and they were tired of him winning in Buffalo, and frankly, we were tired of it too. So it gives us, obviously, we understand the deal, and we know that there's a big opportunity in front of us. But again, it doesn't get there without us putting the work in and going to work each and every day and trying to be the best team that we can be. It's not just going to be handed to us. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are thinking the same thing right now. And again, it's football. Every year is different. It doesn't mean that the Patriots are out of anything as well. They're returning a lot of guys on defense, and they've got a great coaching staff over there. So it doesn't mean that they're just automatically out of it just because they lost, a pretty key player. But we're not looking at it that way. We're going in to try to win as many games as we can and do things the right way and, play for each other.
Thanks.
Hey, Josh. Glad to hear you're doing all right. It's Josh Reed at the CBS station here in Buffalo. I know that you and Brian had talked about, hey, we're going to plan on, showing up at the end of April like we had planned. But if the preseason does get squeezed and a lot of the workouts shrink and there's less time to prepare for the season, how does it help you that really Stefon Diggs is the only new piece in this whole puzzle?
I mean, I think it's a huge factor. I think that having the familiarity that we do with our offense and our players helps us out tremendously. And it's a crazy time that we're in right now. And new teams with new coaches or coaches with new teams, they don't have that luxury to be able to rely on that. And the fact that we do, it's going to be a step up in our favor. And I talked to Jordan Palmer about this, and going back to the lockout in 2009 or 2010, whenever it was, he said the teams that handled that situation the best were the teams that were playing deep into the year and that were playing really, really good football. And I think that to have a leadership aspect, I got to step in and make sure that I'm talking to players and keeping their mind and their brains updated on, what we've been doing and just reiterating the fact of our playbook to them and trying to take initiative there. So we'll find out more as we go along as far as whether or not it's going to get pushed back, and we'll take steps from there.